All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here, and welcome to my review. By the way, this will be a spoiler review. It didn't spoil anything in the title, nothing in the description, nothing like that. So if you don't want to get spoiled and you haven't watched the Mortal Kombat movie, click off right now. Just leave a like on the video, and then you could come back and watch it after you watch the Mortal Kombat movie. But here we are. I wanted to do this spoiler review because I didn't want any restraints. I just want to talk about the film and everything that I like, everything that I dislike, and just share your thoughts down in the comment section about what you think about the Mortal Kombat movie. So let me just preface this by saying that I love all types of movies. I am actually a big fan of good movies, bad movies, so-so movies. I'm not talking about the Mortal Kombat movie now. I'm just giving you guys my little history. This review that you guys are going to hear comes from a guy that actually likes Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I like the movie, all right? So don't take my opinion and change your perception of the Mortal Kombat movie or whether you should watch it or not. I'm just sharing my thoughts. This coming from a guy who likes Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Let me just repeat that, okay? All right, so the Mortal Kombat movie, I came into it with a complete blank slate, meaning that I had an open mind to any new ideas they were going to try. I came in with an open mind about the direction they were going to take their specific world and everything. Like any new character design, any new character idea, I came with an open mind. And to me, it was kind of all over the place as far as my thoughts on whether I liked the movie or not. At first, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be crazy. The opening scene right off the bat, Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, Bihan versus Hanzo Hasashi, the Shirai Ryu versus the Lin Kuei. That scene right there, I was like, I saw that because the Mortal Kombat Twitter posted it. I was like, God damn, if this movie keeps going with how amazing this opening scene is, this shit is gonna be sick. And don't get me wrong, the movie kept up with a good pace, but it definitely was not anywhere near how impactful and how amazing the opening scene is. I'm like, okay, I understand why they released the opening scene to get people excited, because it might be the best part about the movie, because everybody loves Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and the ending with Scorpion and Sub-Zero is another really amazing moment, and it also adds the fact that it's fucking Scorpion versus Sub-Zero. So having that little conflict displayed on screen was amazing, and having the emotion that you felt when Bihan killed Hanzo's family, oh god damn, it just hit you right in the feels. And it was definitely one of the best, if not the best, highlight of the movie. That opening scene was absolutely amazing. I'm not going to mention the actors' names. I apologize, just because I'm really bad with names. I try to memorize them, but I couldn't. I do have a page open here, but I also have it open for the actual Mortal Kombat movie, just in case I need to go to the little scene and reference something. But so the opening scene, absolutely amazing. I want to say I was gonna go with one negative, one positive, one negative, one positive. But I don't have a script. I never have a script for videos. I just do it off the top of my head. But I just want to say that the fight choreography was brilliant. Whoever planned out the choreography deserves an award, because not only did they make it seem very natural, but they also took moves from the characters in the games, Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 9. There was a lot of references to actual character moves and actual character attacks from the video games, which is amazing. You could definitely tell that not only did the director care about the material, but also the actors did. So shout out to the cast and the director, and just the whole Mortal Kombat movie team, because it definitely showed that they cared about the lore and the characters. They just definitely try to make it their own, which is not a problem at all, because it's, you know, a brand new iteration of the Mortal Kombat universe. But they definitely cared about the material, for sure. You could tell. The choreography, like I said, was amazing. All right, let's talk about one negative here. I don't want to like talk too much about the negatives, because there actually wasn't as many negatives as I thought. Just in general, if you just want my like raw opinion, is I had fun watching the movie. That was my takeaway from it. There was parts where honestly I was like, I don't know how to feel about the movie. I don't know how to feel about the story. I don't know how to feel about the pacing of it, and you know, how much was potentially left on the cutting room floor. It seems like there was a lot of in-between scenes that could have explained a little bit more backstory about some of these characters, and who knows what they had to leave off the table because they wanted to make an under 2-hour film. So I was like, oh man, I don't know. At the end of the movie, honestly, I sat in my chair and I was like, I don't know how to feel about the movie. But I will say that I had a ton of fun watching it. Every time that a little reference came up, I was giggling. I was like, I know where that comes from. And I'm sure a lot of Mortal Kombat fans were the same. Whenever I'll talk about the fatalities in a bit, but whenever something like that happened, I was definitely getting hype. I was like, woo, you know, I was cheering. I was very excited about things that are referenced in the game. All right, so let me talk about one negative real quick. Actually, probably two negatives. Number one is Lord Raiden, and I guarantee you that a lot of people are going to not really. It's not that I don't like Raiden's performance, is I do not care one bit about Raiden in this movie. Like, I had zero, and I mean zero interest in Raiden. And whenever I talk about characters in the movie, I don't talk. It's not that the actors did a bad job, okay? It's just like I'm not attacking the actors. I feel bad, like, because, you know, it might come across as like shitting on the actor, and it's not the case. I just like the way Raiden was portrayed. I really just do not feel anything for Raiden. Every time he was on screen, I was annoyed. I was like, Raiden, you know, just do your thing, talk for a little bit, and then get off the screen so somebody else could take it up, you know, because I just really did not like the way Raiden was portrayed in this film. I know he was portrayed as like a, you know, very demanding character who doesn't care about anything except for protecting Earth and doing anything to bring out the best out of, you know, the Earth Realms champions, right? But they could have given him a little bit more personality, or if not personality, more presence. Like, every time Raiden was on screen, I didn't really feel like he was a god. You know what I mean? I didn't really feel like he was the god of thunder. He didn't have that presence. He just felt like a dude, you know, with glowing eyes and a staff, you know, bossing people around or something. I don't know. Like, I saw this person's tweet really like summed it up for me. At ghost_Lomain, he said Raiden is more like a Nick Fury. He was very demanding, but his presence was weak, and that literally sums up my opinion about Raiden perfectly. I didn't expect Raiden to be funny like Christopher Lambert's Raiden was, because that was sort of like a comedic take on it, and Christopher Lambert and his accent, it was just brilliant for that style of Raiden. I didn't expect it to be that way. And even Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I forgot the actor's name, but Raiden had personality. He had presence. He had, you know, some sort of like charisma, something that, you know, made him unique from the other characters. I didn't feel that way at all with this Raiden. So I hope they really give the actor a little bit more to work with. Give him some, you know, something that gives him bigger presence. You know, I don't know how they could do that. Maybe exerting his powers a little bit better. doing something that you're like, holy shit, all right, Lord Raiden, I see you, man. You know, something that would really make him stand out. To me, like, he got overshadowed by almost every character who had a speaking role in this movie. All right, so now let's talk about another negative, in my opinion. All right, this is just my opinion, but Reptile, ay, Dios mío. I know that Reptile in the original Mortal Kombat movie was also this weird ass computer generalized reptile that had horrible effects. And I know they wanted to keep him as a reptile, but fuck, man, come on. Tell me that you don't remember how sick Reptile, when he actually, like, when the reptilian thing, like, was infused with the statue and became like the actual reptile ninja, and that song was playing in the background. Come on, if they would have put like the techno song, like the remix of the Mortal Kombat theme, the techno song, when Kano was fighting Reptile and Sonya and Cole Young, right? That's the new character's name. And it would have been a fucking human reptile, and he's doing these flips all over the place. I know it's not that kind of movie, but tell me that Reptile and the fight scene with Liu Kang was one of the most iconic moments in the Mortal Kombat movie. And Reptile's look in this movie is just a fucking, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. It disgusts me. But yeah, I didn't like Reptile. I feel like they should have made him a human ninja. But I mean, I guess that's just nitpicking, because in reality, it's a fucking reptile. So I'm just nitpicking on that one. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like Shang Tsung had a lot more presence than Raiden, 100%. The scene where I'm pretty sure that he said, "Your soul is mine," and he took Kung Lao's soul. That shit was sick. Other than that scene, I didn't really feel too much of Shang Tsung didn't really feel all that mighty. But just having that one scene was enough for me to be like, all right, shit, Shang Tsung is the real deal. But that's the difference between Shang Tsung and Raiden. Raiden never had that one moment where, he like exerted his dominance or did something crazy. Like fucking Shang Tsung just took out Kung Lao, who was maybe the most respected, I guess, definitely the most respected, maybe the most powerful of the Earthrealm champions in this universe, descendant of the great Kung Lao. He was what Liu Kang was in the original ones. You know what I mean? So having Kung Lao get his soul taken away by Shang Tsung, that was a scene where you're like, oh shit, that is Shang Tsung right there. So I know a lot of people have problems with Shang Tsung's portrayal, but like that one scene to me I was like, all right, that's fucking Shang Tsung right there, man. Ruthless, just give no fucks. He just took his soul. He took this man's soul with the snap of his finger with no problem. That was crazy. So let's move on here to the fatalities. All right. The when I remember people were talking about, like, the cast was talking about fatalities and how crazy they were, and they were talking about that they were true to the game. I didn't really know how they were gonna do the fatalities, right? Because the fatalities are done at the end of a match. And before I start talking about the fatalities, by the way, I'm all over the place. I said I have no script, but the Mortal Kombat movie has no actual tournament. I don't know if you guys have a problem with that or not. I kind of do a little bit. I wanted there to be an actual tournament. I wanted characters to fight versus each other in actual tournament. This was like pre-tournament. This was just Shang Tsung trying to, bend the rules and take out everybody before the actual tournament. I know they have plans for more movies, as, the end scene led us to believe that. And they have plans for, to extend this world, right? But it kind of bothered me that the Mortal Kombat movie didn't actually have the Mortal Kombat tournament be fought in. That was just kind of like, all right, these are the fight scenes. I thought we were gonna have some matches here. GG's. But the fatalities were done in a really really organic way. Like they flowed with the scene perfectly. And write down in the comments what was your favorite fatality. But god damn, dude, the part where Kung Lao did the Mortal Kombat X fatality, I don't remember what it's called, but where he put the hat down, and I think it was Natara, that he dragged her ass to the hat while the blade was spinning and ripped her from the middle of the head all the way down to her hip, just like Mortal Kombat X. I don't know if this is because Mortal Kombat X is my favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time, but I became a little child when I saw that scene. That scene was my favorite part of the entire movie. That shit was sick. I was like, whoo, Kung Lao, did you just do her like that? Are you kidding me? Man, that was my favorite one. Jax with his classic, head clap making. Okay, I gotta talk about Reiko a little bit because I was hyped to see him, and he ended up just being like a brainless meathead. Like, rest in peace, Rich Piana, but he reminded me, like his face reminded me of Rich Piana, and he was just swinging away his hammer with no regard for human life and mindlessly doing nothing but trying to, fuck shit up, I guess. But he hadn't, like, he was kind of like the Hulk. He just lost control of everything, and he just doesn't think at all. Like, I don't think he speaks at all in this movie. And this character Reiko is supposed to be like someone who takes over Shao Kahn's throne. Like, he's supposed to have more of an important role than having just a brainless meathead that, is used to job to Jax and show off his fatality. I don't know. I thought that was a little bit of a wasted character right there, just in my opinion. But Jax's, head clap fatality was sick. Sonya did a fatality where she, pierced the onion rings into Molena's stomach, and then you could still see the spine. I like that reference to the fact that impossible things happen in the Mortal Kombat universe, because that is literally something that happens in Mortal Kombat 11, where Scorpion passes through the opponent's torso and the spine is left intact. I love that reference because it's something that could only happen in the Mortal Kombat universe, and I really like that. Ethereal Molena with the teleports. She was putting in work, man. I wish that she would have. None of these bad guys would have been able to win, realistically, because unlike the original Mortal Kombat movie, there was no jobbers. I think that's another problem that I have. Yeah, let's switch it up here. The fatalities were amazing. I just want to say, Liu Kang doing the classic, dragon fatality on Cabal was amazing. I think Cabal's design looked probably the best out of any character in this movie. Wow, that design is sick. And let's see, Molena, when she lost control and her mouth started actually opening up to show off how her mouth really is and how her teeth really are. I like that. The teleporting Ethereal Molena was awesome. Let's talk about the jobbers, right? I think in every movie where something is supposed to be shown off, at least bad guys or good guys, whatever, there always has to be jobbers in the movie. And by jobbers, I mean characters who are simply there to show off other people's abilities and make them look good. There was no jobbers in the Mortal Kombat movie to show off how cool some of these characters can be and how powerful they can be. In the original Mortal Kombat movie, you had Sub-Zero absolutely destroying some poor bastard who thought he could do a flying kick, and then Sub-Zero just destroys him. And from there on in, you're like this, like the main characters are like, what the fuck is this? This is not a normal tournament. This is not a normal fucking karate tournament. What the hell are these guys doing? You had Goro killing, God, I forgot the character's name. You guys know who I'm talking about. The Johnny's friend, right? I guess he became friends with him. Something Ling. God, I forgot his name. But anyways, you guys know who I'm talking about. Goro destroys him. He kills him, and then Shang Tsung steals his soul. There are jobbers in the original Mortal Kombat movie, and in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Just to like throw that in there, there's jobbers to show off how powerful these characters are. And I wish some of these bad guys would have taken some W's, because Molena, with her ethereal like powers teleporting all over the place, come on, she deserved to get a win, because she was really, really fucking strong in this movie just based on her powers. Cabal literally destroyed Liu Kang in their first fight before Liu Kang, got some motivation after Kung Lao died. Cabal destroyed him. I would have loved to see Reiko do a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like actually like do some work. The only one that did get a W, obviously, is Sub-Zero. And I'm saving him for last because he was the star of the show, in my opinion. But yeah, I feel like some of these other characters like Natara, like we didn't even know what the hell she could do other than scream and fly. That was it. We didn't see anything else. So I feel like the jobbers were necessary, and also like evil jobbers. Some of the good guys could have, done some of the things to the evil jobbers too, to, show off a little bit more of their powers. But I guess they got the W on the main characters, or main bad guys, so it doesn't really matter. But what else was I going to talk about? I guess so far I've just been talking a little bit about the story. The story was I didn't really follow it too much, honestly. I was just like trying to pay attention as much as I could to the characters, to the references. Sonya not having the dragon tattoo because she hadn't proven herself by like killing somebody with it, or she wasn't born with it. They treated her like shit because she didn't have it until she finally, beat Kano up. Had that rematch from the original Mortal Kombat movie twice in this movie. They fought the first time. It was pretty easy for Sonya, and then the second time, she took care of Kano. The story was I don't know, man. I didn't really keep up with it too much. But let's talk about the stars of the show. Actually, before I do that, I want to talk about the new character, Cole Young, right? I had no problem with him. He took the role of what Liu Kang was in the original film. He ended up he was like the guy who had all the potential, but he didn't know how to control his powers, or he didn't know how to summon his powers. He was insecure. He was unsure of himself. He cared about his family. That was his weakness. Blah blah blah. And then that ended up being his motivation. And then once he got his powers, he was like the leader. He was telling everybody, do this, do this, do this. He became the leader just like that. I think that should have gone to Liu Kang. I still think Liu Kang deserves to be like the Mortal Kombat champion, like the strongest character. That's just what Liu Kang has always been. It should always be like that. But honestly, I feel like they could have done a little bit more with Cole Young as far as giving him some cooler looking powers. The way to summon his like powers was to beat the shit out of him. That was literally what, I forgot who the hell it was. I think it was Kung Lao that told him, you have to take the pain. Like, that's how you're going to unlock your powers. Just keep taking the beating, keep taking the pain. That's how you're going to unlock your powers. Literally how he unlocks his powers. Beat the shit out of him. And then, because his powers are like this suit that he has, whenever you like hit him, the more you hit him, the more like powerful he gets. I felt like why didn't they just give him some of the powers that Scorpion has? You know what I mean? Like, give him, I guess because Hanzo then turned into Scorpion, he wasn't really Scorpion. So I guess it would have made sense if he had, the Hellfire powers or whatever. So I don't know, but you could do anything here. Just give him a spear. Like he had the knife, the end of the spear, but he didn't have an actual spear. He just had like Baraka blades. That's who I was referencing him to. I was like, oh shit, he's pretty much a good guy, Baraka. But I didn't really I didn't feel for the character too much, honestly. I was just like, okay, cool. You're representing Hanzo here, and your power is unlocked through you taking a lot of pain and punishment. And then all it does is pretty much like when Jax gets heated up in Mortal Kombat 11, just that instead of pumping up your arms, you're getting your ass kicked. And then you like get stronger as that ass kicking intensifies. So I don't know, man. I didn't really like Cole Young too much, to be honest with you guys. And I understand now why they didn't put Johnny Cage in there, because they want to save Johnny Cage for the future. But his fight with Goro, man, I got so excited when I saw Big Daddy Goro as in the trailer, because I thought that we might see, some scenes where Goro was actually, defending his throne as the champion of Mortal Kombat and destroying people. But we didn't see that because there was no jobbers for the bad guys to beat up on in this movie. It was just all good guys taking the W's, except for Sub-Zero. But Goro just got his ass kicked. He just completely got his ass kicked. But I felt like the Goro CG was like okay. It wasn't the best in the world, but it was definitely not bad. I was like, all right, that's cool. He looks pretty cool. But I was definitely disappointed at how pathetic they made Goro look. This is Prince Goro we're talking about. They tease him. They don't even show Goro when he opens the door and all you hear is roar, and then Shang Tsung's like, we are honored to have your presence or to have your help, Prince Goro. And I'm like, oh shit, this dude is about to put in work. And then he just goes and gets his ass kicked by a new character that was just created for this movie, whose powers are unlocked by taking a lot of punishments. So that was another negative right there. But last but not least, let's leave it off on a good note and talk about the two stars of the show, which are Kano and Sub-Zero. Kano, let's talk about him first. This actor right here, what was his name? Josh Lawson. I remember watching him on a show called House of Lies. It was on Showtime with one of my favorites of all time, Ben Schwartz and Don Cheadle. He did a really good job in that show being hilarious. And he was more like a straight man, but he was like a funny straight man on that show. So that's how I actually remembered him as an actor. And then, the total contrast into being a rude asshole like Kano was. And not only that, but nailing down, I know he's Australian, by the way, but nailing Kano's accent perfectly, giving a lot of comedy relief to, some of the characters that take themselves a little bit too seriously for this movie. Sonya takes herself too seriously. Cole Young definitely takes himself too seriously. So Kano was a really good breath of fresh air in those scenes where, it was just the three of them, and also Liu Kang takes himself too seriously. Kung Lao was actually pretty hilarious when he was riling up Kano for him to unlock his powers. I thought Kung Lao was definitely a really good character and bright spot in this movie. It's just a shame that he got his ass handed to him again by one of the bosses in the Mortal Kombat universe. Damn, Kung Lao cannot catch a break. Even though he was badass in this movie, still can't catch a break. But I feel like Kano with the group of good guys was a huge breath of fresh air because he was hilarious. He was loud. He was pretty much exactly a really good representation of Kano. And he was funny. So I really liked Kano in this movie. The second biggest bright spot as far as character-wise in this movie. But come on, guys. Are you kidding me? Let's talk about the star of the show, Sub-Zero. Whew, god damn. I am still a Scorpion fan over Sub-Zero 100%. But in this movie, I was like, man, they're doing such a good job of making Sub-Zero a badass motherfucker. that I was like, man, I wonder what they're gonna do with Hanzo at the end of the movie to, like, sort of equal what Bihan is doing. And they did a little bit towards the end. I'll talk about the end, after I talk about Sub-Zero. But Sub-Zero was the star of stars in this movie. Even like the Earthrealm champions were like, no one is taking on Sub-Zero by ourselves or by themselves. We got to gang up on this mofo because he is ridiculous. When he took Jack's arms off, that was brutal. It was awesome. When he was summoned to Earthrealm, or I guess summoned with Shang Tsung's powers, sent to Earthrealm. Making it snow at first, and then you knew what was coming. It was just a little buildup. And then he comes out of the smoke, starts icicling people in the face. Some dude literally took it in the face. It looked painful. I feel bad for that stunt actor, man. That probably left a bruise on his face. His face, half of it was red, half of it was his normal skin color when he woke up the next day. It looked bad. But Sub-Zero was awesome. He was definitely the star of stars, not only as Sub-Zero, but also as Bihan in the beginning of the movie. I felt like he was like you hated him when he was talking to Hanzo's wife and kid. You were like, this motherfucker is about to do this. So Sub-Zero was definitely the star of the show. All right, let's wrap this up. 30 minutes or so talking, no script, nothing, just off the cuff. I'm sure I forgot about a couple of things, but I got out what I wanted to get out. Had a lot of fun with the movie. Some characters I didn't agree with, and some decisions I didn't agree with, but overall I had a lot of fun. But the final scene, the final fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, man, everything about that scene was great. Everything was great. The only thing that I would say was not great was the get over here. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. And no disrespect to the actor, he's amazing. Literally could not get they couldn't get a better actor to play Hanzo than him. He was literally perfect for the Hanzo role. Seriously, he's absolutely brilliant as Hanzo. But I felt like, to keep with the tradition, Ed Boon has always done the get over here for Scorpion in the past. So I feel like they should have kept Ed Boon's get over here with Scorpion in the movie. I think that would have made the fight scene an 11 out of 10, a 10 out of 10, whatever it is. I think I'm going to give it like a 9.5 out of 10, because they had a lot of the classic moves that characters do, that Scorpion does. Sub-Zero had his ice clone. He had the MKX, ice sword. He had the MK11 icicle shot, where he shoots a lot of icicles to the opponent. Scorpion had, of course, he had the chain. He had his blade, ninjutsu, Scorpion style. There was a lot of different moves that the characters did that they do in their actual move list in Mortal Kombat games. But I really, really like that scene. The ending with Hanzo giving his little, speech at the end, telling him, remember this face, and then pulling off that mask, revealing his face, giving him the toasty, the classic fatality, while his face disintegrates into a skeleton because the flame is burning his face. And then he puts the mask back on, talks to Cole Young, takes it off, and it's back to normal. And he's like, I mastered it. Or he's like, you thought I would be sent to hell because, or you thought I was gonna suffer in hell or something like that. And then he's like, but I mastered it. Or hellfire, something like that. I don't remember what the hell the line is. I've only watched the movie once and ran through it a little bit twice to get a little bit of notes. But that line was sick. Like I said, there was a lot of really cool references over the course of the movie about, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 9, There was like those three are the games that I think influenced this movie the most. There was a lot of it, a lot of references to those. There's actually some references to the original Mortal Kombat movie too, which I appreciate. So the final scene was awesome. I can't decide what scene I like more, the final scene between Scorpion and Sub-Zero or the beginning scene between Hanzo and Bihan. I think probably Scorpion versus Sub-Zero is like overall a better fight, but I think the emotion of the opening scene is just makes it, in my opinion, probably the best scene of the movie. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that, we got to the ending, and you know, Cole Young was talking about going to Hollywood. Immediately, you already knew it was going to be Johnny Cage. And then the camera pans out, following Cole Young into the locker room or outside the locker room, focuses on the wall that has a poster of Johnny Cage starring in a film. And then that's how the movie ends, you know. So obviously Cole Young is going to recruit more champions to fight in Mortal Kombat. Johnny Cage is going to be one of them. That's why they didn't have him in the movie, because they wanted to introduce this new character, Cole Young. It made more sense for this universe because Cole Young was like the key to, you know, pretty much everything. Or he was like the key to have a successful team of Earthrealm champions, because he had the bloodline of Hanzo in, you know, in his blood. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this random ass review. Almost 40 minutes of talking about the Mortal Kombat movie. No script. I'm just talking to you guys as person to person, I guess. I got no script. I got no filter. I pretty much got everything off my chest that I wanted to get off. It's not a perfect movie whatsoever. I don't even know if it's a good movie or not, honestly. But I had a lot of fun watching it, and I would watch it again. I would recommend watching it at least once, and I would definitely watch it again. But that is it for the Lin Kuei. That was one of my favorite lines. And then I think Hanzo also said for the Shirai Ryu, right? When Cole Young and him were like teaming up versus Bihan. That's how strong Bihan was and Sub-Zero was in the movie. Hanzo couldn't take him out on his own. He literally needed help from Cole Young, who was like all juiced up and powered up from getting the shit beat out of him before. And then they finally took out Sub-Zero. And guess what? If they do make another movie, that Sub-Zero is just going to turn into Noob Saibot, and he's going to be even fucking stronger. So it's going to be interesting to see how much money this movie makes, and if it'll make enough for Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema to collaborate on a second Mortal Kombat movie. It's going to be interesting to see. But thank you so much for watching this long-ass review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. What's going on? It's Super here, and thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you aren't subscribed already, make sure you guys do so. And if you want to see some more, there's videos popping up on the screen right now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.